In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to attach your wings and skin your body. So for this, you're going to need your masking tape, you're going to need your scissors, you're going to need your PVA, and you're going to need your 2 sheets of wet strength tissue paper. Right, so I've got my B frame here, and I've got 2 sheets of wet strength tissue paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw around the body of the bee, but I want to make sure that I'm leaving at least a centimetre, maybe more like 2, around the outside of the frame. Just going to do that now. Again, it can be quite rough because just like with the wings, you're going to be folding these bits over. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the head, if I can find a space on that paper there. Exactly the same, and again, just leaving a good gap around the outside of the head there. So you should be able to fit both shapes on 1 sheet of paper, but if it's really tight and you need more paper, just let us know. Right, next I'm going to cut those shapes out, and just like with the wings, I'm cutting 2 sheets of paper at the same time. Right, so I've got my 2 shapes there, my body and I've got my head shape, and I'm going to put them to one side because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the wings to my body using masking tape. And I'm going to attach them with my wings standing up because that just makes the bee a little bit more 3D. And now my bee looks more like a bee. So I'm going to lay my body on the paper, and I'm going to check that that fits with a margin of paper all the way around the frame. And now we're ready to skin. So make sure you cover this bottom sheet with PVA, go right up to the edges because it's really important that the second sheet sticks to the first sheet all the way around the edges when you cut the tabs. And this is going to be just like the wings. You're going to sandwich the body in between the 2 sheets of paper. So make sure you've got the body placed properly, so you've got a margin of paper all the way around the frame. And then I'm going to carefully place my second sheet of paper down onto the first sheet, so it's just like when you skinned your wings. Were you ever fooled by a bee? A bumblebee? Now the paper over the neck will be sticking up, so I'm going to sort it out just by cutting 2 tabs and folding that paper around the bee's frame. And I'm sealing it with a bit more PVA. And then I'm going to cut tabs all the way around the outside of the body. Now this bit in here, I'm just going to make sure that with my scissors I cut right in there, so it just makes that a little bit easier to fold. So this can be a little bit fiddly, but just take your time with it. The paper is very forgiving. When it dries, it kind of stretches, so don't worry too much if you can't get this on exactly. Once I get here, I'm just going to cut a flap there, cut a flap there, do the same, just cut a bit of a triangle in there. Don't worry too much about these bits. So I've done 1/2, I'm going to cover that with glue and just pull those tabs in there. And again, don't worry too much if things go wrong up here because you can always, using some of your scraps of paper, patch it afterwards. And again, once I got to this bit, it's just a little bit awkward. So I'm just going to slice in there as close as I can just so that I can fold the paper over. So there's my body, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with the head. I'm covering the bottom sheet with PVA. And I'm going to lie the head on the paper and press the second sheet on top of the first sheet, and make sure to press it firmly down. And then you're going to cover that with PVA. And cut tabs and fold them over all the way around the head. And again, when it gets to this bit, make sure to cut all the way into the frame so that you've got paper to fold over. Once everything's down, just give it a really good coat of PVA, because that's just going to seal it and make everything stronger. And then lastly, I'm going to use some of my scraps to skim the stinger. And there you have a skinned bee, and you're going to let him dry before you move on to the next tutorial.